This is Economy Watch, what you need to know about New Zealand's economic life today. Brought to you by interest.co.nz.
Kia ora, and welcome to Friday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect New Zealand. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news: the rise of the US economy and the slowdown in China that Beijing can't seem to arrest is twisting a vast cast of supporting economies and their currencies. The New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar are devaluing faster now. First up today, the giant American economy grew much more than expected as reported by their advanced second quarter 2024 release. It was up 2.8% when the 2% rise was expected after the first quarter's rise of 1.4%. This was driven by strong consumer spending, which broadly confirms the weekly retail impetus that we track. Consumers are acting positively. Growth of 2.8% is moderate in the grand scheme of things until you realise it is a $360 billion expansion from the first quarter, almost a $1.6 trillion US dollar expansion from the same period a year ago. Nowhere else has expanded like that, and it is more than double China's $784 billion expansion. The American economy had economic activity of $28.6 trillion in the past year. Prices, as measured by the PCE, were up 2.6% in the second quarter, a lesser rise than the 3.4% rise in the first quarter. Getting there, but not there yet. Meanwhile, US initial jobless claims fell more than expected last week to 225,000 from the 281,000 of the prior week. These levels are nearly back to where they were a year ago. There are now 1.9 million workers on these benefits now, a tiny slice of their 364 million workforce. But new orders for durable goods slumped 6.6% in June from May after 4 consecutive monthly increases, missing a market expectation of a 0.3% rise. Transportation equipment drove the decrease. From a year ago, these durable goods orders were down a startling 11%. Orders for capital goods were worse, down 27% on the same year-ago basis. However, excluding aircraft, there was actually little change. The next July regional factory survey is from the Kansas City Fed, and they reported little change from June. Basically, it mirrors the national durable goods order data. And China's central bank unexpectedly cut the rate at which it lends to financial institutions, the first such cut in nearly a year. It lowered the one-year medium-term lending facility rate to 2.3% from 2.5%. The bank issued 200 billion yuan in loans to banks at this rate. And this rate cut is part of Beijing's attempt to spur sluggish economic activity. This was just part of the actions taken today. It is also expanding a subsidy program to get more people buying cars and consumer electronics. This will cost them 300 billion yuan, paid for out of their issue of ultra-long special treasury bonds. The subsidies for those trading in their passenger cars for new energy vehicles will double to 20,000 yuan, compared with 10,000 yuan subsidy announced in April, and trade-ins for petrol vehicles will rise to 15,000 yuan from 7,000 yuan per vehicle. Global container shipping rates stayed very high last week, but they did slip a small 2% from the week before and are now just off their peak. That makes them 268% higher than a year ago. There seems little relief in sight yet. Bulk cargo rates were little changed last week to be 24% higher than year-ago levels. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.27% and down 2 basis points from yesterday. And the price of gold will start today down a very sharp $60 at $2,352 an ounce. That's down 2.5% on the day. And oil prices are 50 US cents firmer at just over $78 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now just on $81.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar starts today weaker, down another 40 basis points at just under 59 US cents. That's a 3.4% devaluation since the start of the month. Against the Aussie, we're down 10 basis points at 90 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down a full 0.5% at 54.3 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at 68 and down 40 basis points from yesterday, and that's near a 2-year low. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $64,827 and down 2.6% from this time yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been moderate, also at plus or minus 2.6%. You can find links to the articles mentioned today in our show notes, and you can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.